The bump stocks were used in the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. In a 6-3 ruling, the justices found the Trump administration did not follow federal law when it reversed course and banned bump stocks after a gunman in Las Vegas attacked a country music festival with assault rifles in 2017. A Texas gun shop owner challenged the ban, arguing the Justice Department wrongly classified the accessories as illegal machine guns.
Correspondent Jeremy House. The Biden administration said it was the right call for the accessories that can allow a rate of fire similar to an automatic weapon. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones must sell off his personal assets through a Chapter 7 liquidation in order to pay families of the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre nearly $1.5 billion in damages for spreading lies that the 2012 school shooting never happened. Jones said regardless of what the federal judge decides, he will not be silenced.
InfoWars is not the operation. Alex Jones and my crew and my listeners and my viewers and our guest is the operation. And that's why this is only going to make me stronger.
Many of Jones's personal assets will be sold off, but his primary home in the Austin area and some other belongings are exempt. The judge also dismissed the bankruptcy case of InfoWars' parent company, Free Speech Systems. The Princess of Wales says she's making good progress in her cancer treatment and will attend Saturday's Royal Trooping the Colours ceremony, Kate's first public appearance since her diagnosis. The 42-year-old wife of Prince William hasn't made any public appearances this year. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-355-4107 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-355-4107. That's 800-355-4107. What do you have to lose? Call 800-355-4107. Again, 800-355-4107.
Day. Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks drifted to a mixed close as caution crept into financial markets heading into the weekend. The S&P 500 slipped less than 0.1% after setting an all-time high every other day this week. The Nasdaq Composite edged up 0.1%, marking another all-time high. Losses were sharper across the Atlantic, where European stocks have been rocked by the results of recent elections on the continent. Treasury yields eased following a report on U.S. consumer sentiment. The Dow was down 58 points to finish at 38,589. The Nasdaq gained 21 to 17,688. The S&P 500 dropped 2 points to 54.31. New York oil fell 17 cents to $78.45 per barrel. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We're not cooling down much today in our low 72. Tomorrow hot. A blend of sun and clouds. 95 is the high. A heat index over 100. There's also a 20% chance we get some afternoon rain. Father's Day on Sunday gives us 92 as a high. Wishing you a great weekend. Happy Father's Day, Dads. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. Please press button now. No, that number's bigger than the one I said.
Great things don't happen all at once. Big dreams take time. And when it comes to saving for college, it's those small steps that make a difference. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 5-9 college savings plan, is designed to be taken step by step. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. So why wait? Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportstalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk Media Network on a beautiful Friday evening in the Palmetto State. Let me be the first to say Happy Father's Day to you out there. Father's Day, a most underrated day, if you ask me. I think it's certainly a superior. This is going to make a lot of people mad, but give me Father's Day over Mother's Day. Well, you can't be a mother without a father. So, and the other way around. Let's just call it even. Let's just call it even. But, you know, Mother's Day gets so much attention, and Father's Day is just sort of like thrown in there during vacation time. Happy Father's Day. And you know what, Chris, I know you don't have the two-legged variety of children, but you have the four-legged variety. That counts, too.
Well, I appreciate that, and happy Father's Day to you, my dad, and everybody else who celebrates Father's Day. There was a great Cosby Show episode many, many moons ago where he talked about mothers do a much better job of marketing and promoting themselves. That's why Mother's Day and Valentine's Day and all that stuff was much, much better. Yeah. Guys, you got to do a better job of marketing and improving your lot in life and explaining just how important a dad is. Yeah. Valentine's Day, I call that man guilt day because, I mean, come on. One day a year you're supposed to show your love and spend money on gifts when you should be doing it every day and providing the gifts on the proper days and all that. This is also championship Friday in the NBA, so I am prepared. In fact, for those of you watching our stream, if you look at our stream right now, you see hanging in the background, I've dusted off my number 33 Larry Bird jersey. You see it back there, Josh? Oh, yeah. So I'm ready. You're not wearing it? Well, it really doesn't fit anymore. That doesn't matter. You need to put it on for the I mean, if I put it on, folks. I don't think I could breathe if I put it on. I'd have a really hard time talking. But I'm ready. Championship Friday night in the NBA. Maybe, 3-0. You think you broke their spirit the other night, but you never know what's going to happen. I haven't seen if Porzingis is playing tonight. Have you heard anything? I think I saw where he's still questionable, doubtful, whatever the term is they use. Probably won't know until does the NBA require an injury report like the NFL does an hour before tip-off? Well, I don't know, but they do talk to the coaches prior to the game. They do a little segment. So I don't know if they put out the word then or not. But regardless, the Celtics have not missed him in the playoffs because I think they've won every game that he's been out except for one. Recruiting, we'll have a recruiting report coming up for you tonight. South Carolina, I think, picked up an excellent commitment today. A.J. Holloway, how about this size for linebacker? 6'3", 225. So you got to like that. Nice. And he comes from a powerhouse football program, Buford, Georgia. Players that come out of Buford, Georgia, usually pretty good players. So I think South Carolina's got a good one there. We'll talk more about him, more in recruiting coming up. Chance Miller, the new AD at Coastal Carolina, is going to join us for a few minutes after the top of the hour. Something we just nailed down a little while ago. He's got a few minutes he can spend with us to talk about his new job, transitioning from South Carolina to Coastal Carolina. So we'll have that. And, of course, Jeff Owens will have a lot to say because it was announced this afternoon, Chris, by Martin Truex Jr. This is it. This is his last season as a full-time driver. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I know there had been rumblings about him stepping away from competitive racing for a couple of years, but he never seemed to hint. Maybe he has around the garage a little bit more. I'm not privy to and don't closely involve except when the circuit comes here to Darlington. But, yeah, that news seemed to come from out of left field, and I was talking to a buddy of mine who's an extremely big NASCAR fan, and his question was, all right, fine, who gets that 19 ride moving forward? I mean, that's going to be a prestigious seat in Joe Gibbs Racing, and you wonder if Joe Gibbs is going to promote somebody that's already in their organization, or are they going to go outside? Maybe do they go to Stuart Haas, which is shutting down, try and get one of their drivers? Be interested to see what Jeff's take is on that.
We've had, of course, a turnover in baseball in our state. South Carolina, of course, officially naming Paul Maneri as their new coach yesterday, introducing him to the Gamecock faithful in Columbia. At the same time, you had Mike McGuire moving from upstate over to Winthrop. And today, upstate named Kane Sweeney as their new head coach, the fifth in program history. That's a promotion for him. So another Sweeney in the coaching ranks in South Carolina. How about that?
And no relation, I don't believe, or
Not
is there
spelled
a
the
relation?
same.
Yes.
Not spelled the same.
So
Not
I
spelled
would
the
say
same
no
way.
relation to Dabo.
No. So that job has been filled, and Charleston Southern has been filled. So the one baseball job still open in the state would be the Citadel.
I wonder if they were hoping that they could pull Monty Lee out from South Carolina if he did not get the head coaching job. And when Ray Tanner pretty much told Paul Maneri, it sounded like, hey, this is a guy you need to keep. And to show you how much we need to keep him, we're going to double his salary and make him the highest paid assistant in the country. The Citadel probably said, ooh, let's pull back, regroup, and see where we go from here.
Now, I hope Monty's not listening to the show. Don't take this personally, but you wonder why South Carolina threw $500,000 a year at him.
Mm-hmm.
I would think they could have gotten him for less than that. I don't think he wanted to leave South Carolina.
Didn't sound like it when we talked to him.
$500,000 is a lot of money. Assistant coach, associate head coach. Obviously, that was a magical number to make sure that he wouldn't leave. I don't know that he would have made. I doubt he would have made that much had he taken the Citadel job.
Yeah.
I think the important thing for him at his age, he's got a handful of years left before he's fully vested in the state retirement system. So obviously he wanted to stay at South Carolina. That was big for him to stay there. That's where he wanted to stay, and things worked out for him. But had they not worked out, the Citadel would have given him that opportunity to get those years to become fully vested in the state system. But
I wonder too, Phil, if that was
a payday.
Yes, and I wonder too if it was an image situation. It shows Paul Maneri how serious South Carolina is about getting back to Omaha and being a really, really good baseball program again. If you're going to pay your top assistant that kind of money, maybe to him it says, oh, well, okay, we've got to go win. Mm-hmm. We've got all the resources we need. We've got to go capitalize now. We got to go cash in on this.
Speaking of college baseball, today, the opening day of play in the CWS. Oh, we were so close. We were so close with Clemson to being in Omaha and having dinner at the Drover tonight. We'll save our pennies for another day. So we'll do it. We'll do it again today. First game of the CWS, and boy, if they're all like this, it's going to be a fun CWS. An ACC battle. North Carolina beats Virginia walk-off style in the bottom of the ninth, 3-2, and that's the fourth walk-off win for North Carolina in the playoffs alone, in the postseason. In the postseason alone, going back to the ACC tournament to today, that's 4 walk-off wins and 5 wins in their last at-bat. They got a win. They won a game, or took the lead in a game that they were the visitor in the top of the ninth and went on to win. So 5 in their last at-bat, 4 walk-off style in postseason. That tells me they might be the Destiny Darlings for this tournament, though that could fall under the name of Florida as well when you think about it.
Well, and that's why I picked North Carolina when we set out our picks for the College World Series. I just thought the way they were playing and as clutch as they have been, but I'm just starting to wonder, what is it in Charlottesville that makes really good coaches just turn stupid when it matters the most? Of course, Tony Bennett doesn't realize you foul up 3 late in the game to preserve your win in an ACC tournament. And now today, the only person that you could not pitch to if you're Brian O'Connor in the bottom of the ninth inning with 2 outs and a runner at third and first base open is Vance Honeycutt. Best player in the ACC probably this year. Certainly the best player North Carolina has. It's a guy who just can beat you in so many different ways with his speed, with his bat, power, you name it. And what do? They pitch to him, and he, of course, singles into left field, drives in a game-winning run. I just don't understand why, when it's so obvious to us as fans, why coaches can't see this stuff. Just walk the guy. Set up a force at first and second, obviously, and you don't have their best player beat you into clutch. And Brian O'Connor, I can't imagine what his press conference was like, but he certainly has to answer some really tough questions as to why in the world you would pitch to Honeycutt in that position.
Yep. It's sort of like pitching to Cole Messina at the SEC tournament. When somebody's that hot, you just do everything you can to avoid them. You just avoid them, like Clemson did with Caglione in the Super Regional.
Yeah.
Just avoid them if
Don't
at all
mess with
possible. One more recruiting note tonight around 7:30. Shed Surratt, the big, and I mean big, offensive tackle at Gaffney, going to be announcing his commitments. Looks pretty good for South Carolina with him, I would say. He did not take an official visit there yet, but he's been there multiple times before, and I think the Gamecocks are probably the team to beat for him. He's 6'5", he's 290. He took an unofficial to South Carolina back during the season back in September. He was back for the Clemson game in November. He camped there last year. He was in for a junior day in January. Is scheduled for an official to South Carolina next weekend. Went to Colorado last weekend. So he had narrowed his list to the Gamecocks, Tennessee, Colorado, Florida State, NC State, and Florida. So I think indications point towards the Gamecocks picking up another major in-state commitment in Shed Surratt as they continue to pile up the offensive linemen. Should this happen, which we think it will, continue to pile up the in-state offensive linemen going back to really last year. You could have in maybe a year or two an offensive line made up of entirely created linemen here in the state of South Carolina. How cool would that be?
That'd be awesome, man. It's great to see the Gamecocks are being able to do that. Now the question is, can they step up and play at the SEC level? That obviously remains to be seen. Certainly they've got the measurables, as coaches like to say. Now whether or not they have the intangibles to be able to play in a league as tough as they're going to see, it's certainly as good as Gaffney is. He never saw anybody like he's going to have to deal with at Georgia and Florida and LSU and Texas A&M and Texas and Oklahoma.
This is true. To the U.S. Open now. No MJ tonight. MJ's got UK duty tonight. You know, he writes for Golf Today, which is based out of London, and he does podcasts and the like for his organization over there. Just the timing, what is it, 5-6 hours difference?
Yeah, it's about 11:30 over there.
He's going to be tied up with them. In fact, I think he is right now. So no MJ, but we'll talk plenty of golf with George Bryan in birdies, bogeys, and biceps. But round 2 of the U.S. Open is winding to a close. It is Ludwig Oberg on the course at 6 under par. He has 3 holes to play. He's 2 under today, so he's on 16 at -6 for the tournament. Matthew Pavon is playing the front side as his back nine, and so he has about 4 holes to go. Let's see, 14, 15, 16, 17. Got 8 holes to go. He's 5 under, and he's 2 under on the round, 5 under for the tournament. Here comes DeChambeau, a 69. He moves up to 4 under. Thomas Dietrich, 67. He's at 4 under. Patrick Cantlay on the course with 2 holes to go. He's at 1 over for the day and 4 under for the tournament. Tony Finau is on the course with 3 to play. He's 2 under and 4 under for the tournament. So you've got within 6 shots of the lead. You have got 6 there. 5 within 6 shots of the lead, with the lead at 6 under. I'm sorry, within 2 shots of the lead. That's what you've got because you've got, 6 golfers there at 6 under to 4 under. So very tight leaderboard. Rory McIlroy is 72 today. That's a +2 for him on the round. He's 3 under. Hideki Matsuyama, a 66, might be the best round of the day or one of them.
Yeah, it will be. It will be, I think.
He's 4 under. He's 2 under for the tournament, so he's in 8th place. And Tom Kim, Terrell Hatton, Xander Schauffele, they're all at 1 under as well. Schauffele today with a 69 has him right there tied for 9th. Give you some other scores. Sergio Garcia having a good tournament. He has 2 holes to play. He's even on the day, 1 under for the tournament. Jordan Spieth, a 71, he's +3. And Matthew Fitzpatrick is playing the 18th. He is +1 today, +4 for the tournament. Morikawa is playing his 17th hole He is +4 today and +4 for the tournament. Brooks Koepka playing his 17th hole, +4 today and +4 for the tournament. Scotty Scheffler is on the cut line. He's at +5, 71,
Never saw that
74.
coming.
Guess you can't be great every week, can you?
Evidently not.
+5 for him after a 4 over 74 today. Willie Mack III hanging in there. He's on the cut line, a +5. Still got some holes left, and 4 over today. Be a great story if he can make the cut. This was a qualifier out of Florida, a guy who's been hacking it around on the pro circuit down in Florida and getting his chance in the U.S. Open. Victor Hovland went from a 78 to a 68, but right now it's not going to be enough. That's +6. That's 1 over the cut. And Tiger Woods is playing the 18th. Does not look like he will make the cut. He's +3 today.
From the fairway.
Yeah, he's +7 for the tournament. He's +3 today. Looks like Tiger's going to miss another cut in the major. Dustin Johnson's going to miss the cut. He's at +8 with 2 holes to go. He's 4 over today. Lucas Glover is going to miss the cut. 74-79 for him. He's +13. Phil Mickelson will miss the cut. He's still got about 5 holes to play. He's +4 today, and he's +13 for the tournament. What has happened to his game? Is it just he's not that old where you would say, well, he's in his low 50s. I think
he's my age, 54, 53. And 2 years ago he won the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
At Kiowa.
I guess he's counting all that money from overseas, and that's tiring him out, I guess.
Yeah, it feels just not the same, and it's sad to watch. You know, it's the same thing. I'm watching Tigers round here this afternoon, and the NBC people are fawning over him, trying to get him, almost willing him to get a birdie or two to get in to the cut line. It's just so sad to watch these great golfers and their career coming to an end on the backside. I mean, what Nicklaus did to win the Masters in '86 at the age of 46, I think, is one of the more remarkable feats in all of golf. Because this game catches up to everybody, and certainly Tiger's well documented with all the injuries and everything else he's had. But the really fascinating thing to me, Phil, thus far in the U.S. Open, you look at the top 16, 10 are international players. Is America starting to lose if Tiger goes out and Phil Mickelson starts to wane and Jordan Spieth slowly starting to get towards I won't say back end of his career, but I mean he's moving through his prime and not really a factor here late. Is America starting to lose its grip on the game of golf? And, it's always been an international game, but I can't remember a time where you see so many international flags up inside the top 15 like we're having here at the U.S. Open.
I just think it's one of those weekends. I mean, with
golf.
It
may very well be.
Yeah, I mean, look, Scotty Scheffler's, he carries the American
best player
flag
in the world. Sure.
better than anybody right now. Xander Schauffele. And, you just have those days. You have those weekends where it just doesn't go your way in golf. I don't think you can draw any conclusion about Americans losing their grip. Kind of like now in tennis, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about because we have nobody hardly, especially on the men's side, that you can say, oh, yeah, I want to watch him. There's no Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe that you want to go watch anymore.
No, I mean, I tell you, your Pete Samprases and Andre Agassi and I can't even, I guess, who would be the last, I can't think of the last male American tennis star who attracted a great following like those guys did. Now, on the women's side, of course, you had Serena and Venus Williams, and they carried American interest for decades, No, right. But now they've retired, pretty much retired. So, I don't know. And, of course, women's golf is almost a totally international domination, especially from Korea, South Korea, Japan. I mean, who was the American who won 5 in a row? She had the LPGA Tour in her hand there for a while. What was her name? Kelly? Was it Kelly something? See, that tells you how much we pay attention to.
Kelly Korda.
Yeah. So, all right.
Nelly Korda. I'm sorry.
Well,
I know Kelly didn't sound right. Nelly
You
Korda.
were close. Just like me last night with the baseball coach's name. You were close. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. We had to pass on a lot of phone calls last night because of the news with South Carolina. We were covering, the press conference and stuff. So we'll make up for that tonight as we've got time to take your phone calls. So we'll go ahead and dive into those beginning right now. And if you want to grab a line, we got a couple open for you, 888-898-2525. And Gamecock Larry, he's had an extra day to think about things since the last time we talked to him. So let's see how he's doing on this Friday evening. Gamecock Larry, welcome in, sir, and happy Father's Day and whatever Grandfather's Day and maybe Great-Grandfather's Day to you. I don't know what level you reached in life.
I think I'm about great-grandfather.
Great.
I got one. Great-grandfather's good.
Yeah, that's good. If you're not sure, just claim it.
Still, you throw me off. I've had some I wanted to ask you. Done got all about it, but anyway, I'm well satisfied with this coaching staff we got. I mean, the way it sounds, it sounds good, and I'm hoping it's good. But that is, you know what? Remember that guy out in, I think he was a coach of Texas? Did he won a World Series at 79 years old? What was his name?
Is that Augie?
I don't forget it.
That was Augie,
Who?
wasn't it? First name was
Yeah,
Augie.
Yeah. 79 years old, and he won a College World Series. Well, I guarantee you, we're going to win a College World Series within maybe the next 2 or 3 years. We'll have another College World Series if everything goes the way it sounds.
Well, Gamecock Larry, I see a piece of news here that will interest you. It was just passed on to me by Josh while we're talking about things like this. He just sent this to me. I'm assuming this is not fake news. It's from a Twitter site we follow, ML Football. They've got over 200,000 followers. They are saying that Bill Belichick, who is 72, is dating.
Chris sent it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me give Chris credit then.
No, I give Bill all the credit. You don't need to give me a bit of credit.
Bill Belichick is dating former cheerleader Jordan Hudson, according to reports. Old Bill is 72, and old Jordan Hudson, she is a ripe old 24. 48-year difference there, Gamecock Larry. Could you make that work, a 48-year difference? Maybe you got a nurse over there or something that's like 40 years younger.
Well, I tell you what, I've been, man, I'm an old man. You done got me old, Mr. Trump. But I've been trying to find out a little bit of thing. How many losing seasons did Monty Lee have at Clemson?
One.
Okay.
One losing season.
Okay, I heard him talking about he only had one losing season.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it might have been when he first went down to, I think you're down there in Charleston somewhere. I don't know. That's okay, but tell Triple T, I heard him last night talking about the age. Tell him the older you get, the better you get. And don't worry about the Gamecocks. Tell him to take care of Jack Leggett running on the field with Clemson. Tell old Triple T that for me.
You got
Triple T, if you're listening, Triple T, if you're listening and you want me to call me, call Phil. He'll give you my number. You can call me and we'll talk about
it. That's 1-800 Gamecock Larry. 1-800 Gamecock Larry. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. I tell you, Jordan Hudson needs to have her eyes checked. Has she seen Bill Belichick recently? Oh, my gosh. We'll be back.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We're not cooling down much today in our low 72. Tomorrow hot. A blend of sun and clouds. 95 is the high. A heat index over 100. A 20% chance we get some afternoon rain. Father's Day on Sunday gives us 92 as a high. Wishing you a great weekend. Happy Father's Day, Dads. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
With us on the news, I'm Keith Peters reporting the Supreme Court has decided to uphold federal approval of the abortion pill mifepristone for now, but this week's unanimous ruling isn't the final word. The justices denied the challenge for technical reasons and didn't address the merits of Food and Drug Administration drug approvals. Justice Brett Kavanaugh's opinion even provided a map for people who he said have sincere objections to others using mifepristone and obtaining abortions. The Justice Department says Attorney General Merrick Garland will not be prosecuted for contempt of Congress because his refusal to turn over audio of President Joe Biden's interview in his classified documents case did not constitute a crime. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 57 points, the Nasdaq rose 21. More details at srnnews.com.
Katrina Shealy. She's fighting Democrats and winning, lowering our taxes, passing constitutional carry, locking up violent offenders and illegals, and protecting our children. When moderates blocked her, Katrina Shealy cast the deciding vote to ban child gender reassignment surgery. Now it's time for Lexington County to stand with Katrina Shealy. Send a proven fighter back to the state Senate. Vote Katrina Shealy in the Republican runoff on June 25th. Paid for by SC Senate Republican Caucus.
If you're looking for a change in careers, Day and Zimmerman is offering you the chance to work for a globally respected company in the nuclear industry. Get your start now while training is available. If you or someone you know is interested in a career in the nuclear field, Day and Zimmerman, in cooperation with Midlands Tech, is offering 2 informational sessions. One on the 25th at the Midlands Tech Airport campus, the other on the 27th at the Midlands Tech Fairfield campus. Don't miss out on what could be a tremendous career opportunity. For more info, check out DayZim Open Shop on Facebook. That's DayZim Open Shop on Facebook, or reach out at 888-602-72 and tell them you heard about this on The Point. That's 888-605-0272. There are great opportunities and training is available. Again, that's 888-605-0272.
As we celebrate 10 fantastic years at Sweet Comfort Services, we're cooling you off with unbeatable deals on all SEER 2 and high-efficiency AC equipment. Hey, Point family, mention this ad and get a thorough spring maintenance check from our expert non-commissioned techs for just $95 for your first system and a chill $5 each additional system. Look us up at sweethvac.com or call us at 331-8143. Celebrating a decade of keeping you cool and comfy. That's the Sweet Comfort promise.
Great things don't happen all at once. Big dreams take time. And when it comes to saving for college, it's those small steps that make a difference. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 5-9 college savings plan, is designed to be taken step by step. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. So why wait? Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Excuse me, can I interest you in an easy way to reduce your energy usage and save money at home?
Yeah.
Did you know Dominion Energy has an online store?
No. Where is this online store?
Online at EnergyWiseShop.com.
What's in it for me?
Huge discounts off Energy Star certified smart thermostats, advanced power strips.
Any hidden fees?
No. And you get free shipping with qualified orders.
I see EnergyWiseShop.com in my future. Thanks for the tip.
Certain restrictions apply.
When I look in my father's eyes,
Okay, we are back on Sports Talk Friday edition. Phil Kornblut on the road at our coastal headquarters. We have Josh Cohen back at our Columbia headquarters and Chris Bergen at our beautiful
Split the middle.
PD showcase headquarters over in Sardis. That's why we put you over there, to be a showcase. Have advertisers, potential marketers come through there and look at what we've built, and they go, "Wow!" They'd be give them the wow effect. That was the idea behind all of that.
Well,
All right.
real estate was cheap here in Sardis. That's why we were able to build the palatial studios.
Tax base is very low. It is very low. 888-898-2525 if you'd like to join in on the program tonight. We've got some time and space for you for a little bit. We'll have recruiting coming up for you. I hope to be talking to Chance Miller after the top of the hour. He hasn't gotten back to us to confirm that he can be with us. Hopefully he will. If not, we'll do something with him next week. Jeff Owens will be coming up. I'm sure he'll have plenty to say about Martin Truex Jr. announcing that he is retiring as a full-time driver after this season. And then George Bryan III, birdies, bogeys, and biceps with George, plenty on what's happening at the U.S. Open and other things in the world of golf, both around the world and here in South Carolina. And recruiting information coming up for you in a little bit. Mentioned that North Carolina beat Virginia 3-2. Walk-off win for the Tar Heels, the opening game of the College World Series. And game number 2 tonight will be Florida State and Tennessee. And, of course, in the NBA Finals, it's game 4 in Dallas tonight. Boston and Dallas with the Celtics holding a 3-0 lead. Everybody knows in the history of the NBA, no team has ever come back from 3-0 down. The Celtics nearly did it last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. As Tatum said the other night, they were a sprained ankle away from maybe pulling it off. But everybody in Boston, no doubt, knows it's possible for a team to come back from down 3-0 because the Red Sox did it to the Yankees.
Right.
So Boston should be wary because they know in the history of sports, it is possible. And, of course, in the NBA, it is possible. Nothing is impossible. It is certainly possible for the Celtics to collapse and the Mavericks to come back and get in the series. That's why you can't take your eye off the prize. You can't take your foot off the gas. You can't let up. You got to beat them to a pulp and finish it tonight. And that's why, for those of you watching the stream, if you see behind me, I've got the Larry Bird jersey behind me there. It has had a good amount of sweat in it over the years. But
when did they wear gold, though?
There's no gold in that.
That's what it looks like.
No. There's
Yellow?
no gold in that. No, that's all. You're just seeing a
Is
reflection.
that white?
Yeah, it's green and white.
Oh my gosh!
That's the
You're right about
classic.
the sweat.
That's the classic Celtic jersey there. That's classic. That's classic.
Okay, well, that
Boston.
makes sense. Yeah, no, it looks like I said. I'm surprised because it looks gold on TV, but it's just aged well.
Yeah, it might have a little bit of a tan look to it. All right, 888-898-2525 is our phone number. A couple of other things to mention tonight. Talked about the change in the baseball deals at Upstate and Winthrop, so those jobs have been filled. From the Miami Herald, lawsuit settlement will change college athletics, and it may be time for Miami to drop sports. This is an opinion piece in the Miami Herald. Not sure how many Hurricane fans wanted to read that.
Or knew they had sports. That might be a better question.
Yeah, this is written by a former member of the Miami Herald editorial board. What would happen if Miami decided to do so thanks to the huge sums of TV money going to the schools in major conferences other than the ACC, where Miami is trapped at a huge financial disadvantage. So, of course, Miami at one time, they dropped their basketball program, remember. They dropped their basketball program, and they reinstituted it under Bill Foster. I believe I'm right about that. Bill Foster had been at Charlotte, then he had been at Clemson, and then he went to Miami. to restart the basketball program there. Check my history on that, but I think I'm right on that. But, I mean, this is obviously somebody swinging for the fences here with that kind of opinion. That's not going to happen at Miami.
Well, it shouldn't happen anywhere because, especially in Power 5 level competition, I mean, where are you going to get the kind of revenue coming back into your university, whether it be through the athletic department or otherwise? And how many students? You can't put a price tag on how many students attend your school because you have intercollegiate athletics. And I'm just talking about normal students. But yeah, take away how much money the university is going to have to pay out. You can't survive, I don't think. I can't imagine the University of Miami could survive outside of maybe its medical school without athletics. As poorly attended as most of their games are, they're still one of the schools that you look at and say, yeah, I can't imagine them not having athletics. I really can't.
Somebody flashed on here on X, the old Sports Illustrated cover that said why the University of Miami should drop football. You know, that was back when I think Miami was cheating its rear end off and just had a really bad reputation. Turns out the guy that wrote this column is a guy named Robert Sanchez. He's from Tallahassee. He's a member of the Miami Herald editorial board, and he is also a professor at Florida. He's a Florida State alum and a current professor there and lives in Tallahassee.
Okay. Okay, now that we've peeled the onion back further, we understand your narrative. You just want Miami to get sports to go away so more kids end up at Florida State. We got it now.
Yeah. There was some news about Clemson today. I saw a tweet. I gotta quit using the old lingo. I saw a post from John Blau of the Post and Courier. See if I can pull that up here, where there was some activity involving the Clemson case. Here we go. The ACC today filed an objection to Clemson's motion for summary judgment, arguing the court in Pickens County must first hold a hearing on the ACC's motion to dismiss. We're getting into heavy legalese here now. To get Jim Corbett on the line here to explain what all this means. If you missed it, John says, Clemson asked for a hearing on its motion for summary judgment on or before July 12th, which would jump the ACC's motion to dismiss. All right,
smart on Clemson's part.
Do you understand that? You explain it to us then.
Well, again, I did not go to law school, but my guess is Clemson wants to push this through before the ACC gets a chance to run up to a judge and find one in North Carolina that might be along their, a little bit more favorable for them, that they could dismiss the lawsuit by Clemson. Well, if Clemson pushes through another motion or two, maybe it gets bogged down. I don't understand what a motion for summary judgment means. I'm not going to begin to do that. But what the ACC is arguing, they want to get a judge that may listen to their case and not be in Pickens County, where they can get the entire case dismissed. And so I think Clemson attorneys are thinking, wait a minute, let's go ahead and push this through in Pickens County and see if we can get further down the line.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Maybe you should go to law school.
No.
Hang up your shingle, as they say. All right, back to the phones we go. 888-898-2525. And, when it's a slow, boring night on Sports Talk, we send up the flag. It's sort of like, in Gotham City when they throw out the spotlight, the Batman.
Yeah, the bat signal.
Well, we do this, and you know what? It gets answered every time. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back to Sports Talk for a special occasion when he does visit. He is the bad boy by the bay, the ninja of the night, the pontiff of the port city, the queen of the cowboy crybabies, and he is, this is my favorite, he is the man who swims out to Fort Sumter and he recovers unexploded cannonballs and brings them back to the Citadel for the cadets to recharge, repaint, shine up to be used against future aggression from the North. Just in case that ever happens, we'll be standing by, we'll be ready. We have this man to thank. It's not Jim Rome. He's making billions in Los Angeles. It's Jay Rome in Charleston.
Hello.
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 Hey, Andy's picking fights with football players to make him rich. How about that? How
Is
you
that
like
what he's
that
doing?
story,
Oh,
huh?
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, but time does not heal all wounds. I'm never going to forgive him for doing that, okay? What a bum. He he picks a fight with a guy, and then he's running like a little 2-year-old, little you-know-what.
Oh, yeah.
Because he doesn't want to get his head bashed in.
That was an embarrassing moment for the entire sports media world. That was just an embarrassing moment.
No, I thought that was a highlight of sports media because there's a lot more need to be lined up like him.
Well,
okay?
I mean, if you're going to talk the trash, then stand up and back it up. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and don't
Was he
play
like
the game.
5'4"?
Don't play the game of don't say that again, or I'm coming over there and smacking your face. And and then you say it again, and doggone if he didn't go over there and knocked him over, knocked him off the couch or whatever, he would have beat the dog out of him.
You see how big Jim Rome is? Was he like 5'2"?
Yeah,
103 pounds? Come on. How you letting little you talking trash, man? What's up with that? By the way,
he's
is
TV,
it over
man.
tonight? Is it over tonight? Because I need to get my beauty rest.
I think it is. I think that, they, listening to the analysts and listening to the coaches and everything, I mean, they have got a great plan for dealing with Doncic on their offensive side, making him play defense. I mean, he's going to score his points. He's such a great offensive player. He's going to score his points. But you saw how they wore him down defensively. They got him in these situations where he's got to switch on the pick and roll. And, according to the analysts, the experts, they're saying that's wearing him down. He fouled out the other night. And so I think they've got a good game plan, the Celtics do, in dealing with the Mavericks and their two best players. And they've proven that even when their two best players, the Mavericks, go off and have big nights, as they did the other night, the Celtics can sustain. So, yes, I think it ends tonight.
I got a question for you. Why doesn't Clemson just cut the charade and just go to the SEC and get the really big money? Quit playing around with these stupid court cases and suing people and all that. You know they want to go to the SEC.
Maybe the SEC doesn't want them. Maybe they don't want them.
Why not?
I don't know why not, but maybe they don't.
They took
Maybe
Carolina.
South Carolina threatened to leave if they took Clemson and the SEC.
Oh, God forbid that happens. South Carolina leaving. Oh no! Don't let them leave. Right. Okay. All right.
I'm just suggesting. Jerome.
Yeah. Okay. Nice talking to you.
You too, Jerome. Good hearing
So
from
long.
you. Looking forward to watching the Cowboys, flounder around again. Great expectations, never deliver. That's the Cowboys. Looking forward to that, guys, in an upcoming football season.
Yeah, it's almost unfathomable how many opportunities they have had to run to the Super Bowl with as much talent as they've had. And it's not all on Dak Prescott, I don't think. I mean, the last, year or so, last couple of years, I thought Prescott played pretty well for them.
Aren't they having some issues trying to re-sign him? Aren't they haggling over contract terms or something right now?
Well, and I'm sure Trevor Lawrence's new deal yesterday probably didn't help.
Ooh. What is that going to mean? Yeah, you touched on it a little bit, but I mean, when you break it down, what's that going to mean to the other elite quarterbacks in the NFL? Because how far away are the Jags from winning a Super Bowl? I mean, they were much improved last year.
I don't know that they're that far off.
Really?
But the problem is they're in a much more difficult conference. I mean, the AFC is much better, and you've got the best team in the NFL on your side that you've got to go through. And I'm not sure they're ready, even with a healthy team. I'm not sure they're better than Kansas City.
Kansas City finds a way.
Yeah, they do. And their quarterback, judging by Trevor Lawrence's new deal from yesterday, $275 million extension, their quarterback is terribly underpaid. As ridiculous as that sounds.
Yeah.
If you look at what Patrick Mahomes has done in his time in the NFL versus what Trevor Lawrence has done with his time in the NFL, the numbers aren't even comparable.
But he does deliver. He does deliver when it's money time. Kansas City finds a way. All right, let's go to the break, and when we come back, we'll give you the recruiting report tonight. Coming up in our second hour, Jeff Owens, we know, will be with us in the fast lane as we go racing in the cornfields of Iowa. The Corn 500. It's KORN 500. How many laps are they going to go this time? Or miles, do you know?
I don't.
How many?
I don't know right off the top of my head.
Okay. We'll look that up and find out before Jeff is with us, and we'll be back.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, it's hunting season in South Carolina this fall, and folks need to be prepared from a legal standpoint.
That's right, Phil. Always needs to buy their hunting license or fishing license. Everyone always worries about losing their license. Well, now that's not a problem anymore because you can keep your license on your phone. That's right. Go Outdoors SC. It's an app. Look for it on your Apple or Android devices. You can buy your license. You can renew your boat registration, and it's all right there on your phone. Remember, Go Outdoors SC in your app store.
Great things don't happen all at once. Big dreams take time. And when it comes to saving for college, it's those small steps that make a difference. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, China's 529 college savings plan is designed to be taken step by step. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. So why wait? Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your wreck case or any on-the-job injury. Call 3-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. Jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has a new rolling jackpot, and trust me, our state hasn't seen anything this big before.
How big? Harbortown Lighthouse big?
Bigger.
Bigger than the Ravenel Bridge?
Even bigger.
Not bigger than Table Rock.
With this jackpot, Palmetto Cash 5 is officially too big to ignore. Palmetto Cash 5 draws nightly, so play today. Check if your numbers are winners in the Players Club app or at SCEducationLottery.com. Overall odds are 1 in 10. Top prize odds are 1 in 850,668.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, let's get her done with recruiting brought to you by Seawells. Anybody make it over to the Roast Beef Friday today? Sure hope so. If you were there, then you had yourself a great lunch. If you missed it, well, you have no one to blame but yourself. You'll have to wait probably another 7 days until the next Roast Beef Friday. That's how it works. Don't forget, however, all next week, Daily Lunch and Buffet starting on Tuesday, closed on Monday. Daily Lunch and Buffet 11 to 2 over at Seawells. And, of course, coming up this fall, fall is when people like to do a lot of things. I mean, some people are dumb enough to get married during football season. Can you believe that, Chris Bergen? Like, if you had to host a wedding during football season, what would you do? How would you handle that? Would you say, honey, let's wait till the summer or the spring? I mean, I tried that with my daughter, and I said, like July is a great month to get married. Mm-hmm. And she said, this ain't about you. That was her response.
She was 100% correct.
Yeah, she got married in October.
Now, my parents also have an anniversary in October, and I used to give my dad just immeasurable grief about that. And he reminded me back when they got married in the late 60s that there were like 2 football games on television during the weekend. It wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we've got games starting at 11 o'clock in the morning and running until about 1 o'clock the following morning on a Saturday. So, yeah, different times.
The good thing this football season, you got 2 open weekends each for the Gamecocks and the Tigers. So you can drop your wedding in one of those weekends. And, of course, let Seawells know well in advance your date, and they'll plan it with you. They'll help with everything that you need from the food standpoint. I mean, they're not going to help you with the dress. They're not going to help you with selecting the wedding party or getting them there or anything like that. But they will help you with the food arrangement, and they'll host at their facility or they'll come to you. Their phone number is 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. So the Gamecocks commitment, linebacker A.J. Holloway, 6'3", 225 of Beaufort, Georgia. And he made his official visit to USC last weekend. Came out of there with the Gamecocks firmly in the lead. He had talked about going to Georgia Tech this weekend, but decided to go ahead and end it with his commitment today, publicly announced to South Carolina. He might have been one of those that maybe told Beamer last weekend, and Beamer put out one of his commitment alerts and then just let the young man take his own time to announce it publicly. He's the third commitment this week from a player in Georgia for South Carolina. And what they laid out for him was how much they wanted him and what an important part of the defense they would be. He would be at linebacker because he can play multiple positions at linebacker. He can play the will. He can play the Mike. So they like him for his versatility. He did make it official. Louisville was scheduled for Georgia Tech this weekend and Kansas next weekend. Other offers included Baylor, North Carolina, Indiana, Auburn, Duke, Mississippi State, Maryland, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Texas, Kentucky, and Colorado. And he gives the Gamecocks 11 commitments in the class, the second linebacker. Last season, he had 145 tackles, 4 sacks, and 1 interception. Meantime, Gaffney offensive tackle Shed Surratt set to announce tonight with USC, Florida State, Florida, Colorado, NC State, and Tennessee his finalists. He took an official visit to Colorado and is scheduled for USC next weekend. He did visit USC for games last season. He's been there for camps. He was there for a junior day in January. So indicators do point towards South Carolina for this big guy, Shed Surratt, announcing about 7:30. So we'll break in, hot break. We'll break in on Birdie's Bogies Biceps, BBB, with that breaking news when it happens. South Carolina scheduled to have unofficial visits this weekend from 2 place-kicking targets in the 25 class. London Baronis of Brentwood, Tennessee, confirmed his plans. And Max Kelly of Gallatin, Tennessee, is the other kicker the Gamecocks have offered by head coach Shane Beamer and special teams coordinator Joe DeCamillis. And Bronis told us that I was right the first time. Baronis told us that South Carolina's been staying in touch with him, catching up on his recruiting, working out the logistics for this weekend because he's going to come in and kick. And then, all goes well, he'll set an official visit with the Gamecocks. They wanted to bring him in for the kicking camp and also for an unofficial before they schedule an official visit with him. Tennessee, Princeton, and Oklahoma are the 3 other schools Baronis is most interested in right now. The only one that he would take an official to, he said, would be Princeton sometime this summer. He'd like to make his decision sometime this summer before his season. He's the son of the late NFL star kicker Rob Baronis. Last season, he made 7 field goals with a long of 45 yards. Clemson very much in the hunt with linebacker Kamar Archie, 6'1", 215 out of Princeton, New Jersey. Took an official to Clemson earlier this year. He's on an official to Rutgers this weekend. He's got Michigan next weekend. Then he's going to make his decision. Clemson likes him to play the Mike or the Will. He was blown away by his official visit to Clemson, really loved it. They love his versatility. That's why they are very strong on him and making a strong pitch. He was scheduled to visit Texas A&M last weekend, but he did not make it there. So after he wraps up the official visits, he's going to sit down with his family and talk it over and figure it out. But at this particular time, he's got Clemson number 1 on his list as he goes through the rest of these official visits. And 2026 linebacker Shadarius Tootle of Mobile, Alabama, has USC in his top 10, along with Auburn, Louisville, Michigan, Oregon, Ohio State, Miami, LSU, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. So the Gamecocks have a shot there, competing against some big-timers. Blythewood defensive tackle Sterling Sanders last night committed to Georgia Southern. I didn't mention that last night. Should have, but I think I mentioned it last night. That'll do it for the recruiting for now, but again, hang with us. We'll let you know what the official word is from Shed Surratt coming up a little bit after 7:30 tonight. He's got a big party, a big gathering taking place in Gaffney, but he is going to put the announcement on social media, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Okay, we'll be back. Top of the hour break. Don't go away.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. The nation's highest court has thrown out a ban on bump stocks for weapons. Correspondent Jackie Quinn reports.
The High Court decision finds the Trump administration didn't follow federal law when it banned stocks, the type of rapid-fire accessory that was used by a sniper in Las Vegas who killed 60 people at a music festival in 2017. On a 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court justices agreed with a Texas gun owner who challenged the ban, arguing the Justice Department wrongly classified the accessories as illegal machine guns. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is facing a court-ordered sell-off of many of his personal assets while the future of his InfoWars media platform remains up in the air. A federal bankruptcy judge in Houston on Friday ordered a liquidation of Jones's personal assets to help pay the $1.5 billion in legal judgments he owes relatives of victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting for calling the massacre a hoax. Jones says the future of the InfoWars media platform could be coming to an end as a federal judge decides on a bankruptcy case involving his company.
This is probably the end of InfoWars here very, very soon, if not today, in the next few weeks or months. But it's just the beginning of my tyranny.
But the judge also dismissed the bankruptcy case of InfoWars' parent company, Free Speech Systems. The company's future is uncertain. The Justice Department says Attorney General Merrick Garland will not be prosecuted for contempt of Congress because his refusal to turn over audio of President Biden's interview in his classified documents case did not constitute a crime. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 57 points, the Nasdaq rose 21. More at townhall.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less 100,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-355-4107 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who take this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-355-4107. That's 800-355-4107. What do you have to lose? Call 800-355-4107. Again, 800-355-4107.
Bible.
Another arrest for a noted CFO.
Tyson Foods suspended its chief financial officer, a great-grandson of the company's founder, after his arrest Thursday on charges of driving while intoxicated. 34-year-old Bart Tyson was arrested in Fayetteville, Arkansas. He was also charged with careless driving and making an illegal turn. Springdale, Arkansas-based Tyson Foods immediately suspended Tyson. He is the son of Tyson Foods chairman John H. Tyson and former investment banker who joined Tyson Foods in 2019. It was the second time in less than 2 years that John Tyson was arrested on alcohol-related charges. I'm Bill Alexander reporting.
Louisiana Congressman Garrett Graves says he will not run for re-election after a new congressional map dismantled his district. The Republicans have the new map transformed it into the state's second majority black district. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We're not cooling down much tonight on low 72. Tomorrow hot. A blend of sun and clouds. 95 is the high. A heat index over 100. There's also a 20% chance we get some afternoon rain. Father's Day on Sunday gives us 92 as a high. Wishing you a great weekend. Happy Father's Day. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Ooh, I like when you press that one.
The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back. It's Friday nights here on Sports Talk as we head into the Father's Day weekend. Again, happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. Thank you for everything you do, dads. We appreciate you very, very much. Not that we don't appreciate moms the same amount. Certainly we do. It's even. It's 50-50 here. We don't play one side against the other. But we really like our dads, guys. We really like our dads. Mm-hmm. You like your dad, Josh? Josh, is your dad like your hero, your go-to guy?
Somewhat.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's my father.
Yeah. Without him, you're nothing, Chris.
That's right.
Is your dad your go-to guy?
Role model, yeah, absolutely. Guy who got me, taught me my first love of sports. I mean, Dad's always been a huge sports fan. So, yeah, enjoy the opportunities we get to go to games. We don't get to do them as often. One of my fondest memories as a child was back when New Year's Day was a big deal. You know, when there were 9 or 10 bowl games, we would always set up the den and have like 3 or 4 televisions in there with all the games on. That's one of my fondest memories growing up. Can't do that anymore because there are only about 2 or 3 games that get played on New Year's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, back when that was a truly a special day. All those things have,
really was.
all those things have gone by the board now. Everything about college sports, and this is not taking this opportunity to whine about it anymore. I've whined about it enough since all this started happening. I've moved on past that, but you can't forget the fact that it's all changing, and we'll see if it changes for the good. Look, this might be everything that's happening in college sports. Just might be a great change for the good, you know. All the outside money coming in, all the outside influences, all the people getting involved, you know, one way or the other. Somehow, some way that it all might just work out to be a great thing for college sports. The athletes are going to be able to make money like they've never thought of before. I mean, let's face it. Now, you can raise your kids if you're parents and you've got a 7 or 8 year old who's got athletic skills, male or female. And you raise them to be an athlete who can go to a major college, one of the 60 or 70 or so who will participate, and you can raise them, especially if they play one of the 4 what we call major sports, you know. I'm not sure if your soccer teams and all those Olympic teams down the line are going to get the same kind of money consideration that the Big 4 will receive. Let's just say you raise them to be a football player, baseball player, or a basketball player, male or female. The point is, you no longer have to send them to college and then wait for them 4 or 5 years to go earn money. They can earn enough money now for you to retire. I mean, if you raise that kind of athlete, and you are a family of socially economic that's not rich, you're not poor, you're middle income, but maybe you struggle a little bit here or there. You get your kid to college that freshman year with some of the things we're hearing and the kind of money they can make, $150,000, $200,000. I mean, you don't think that would change the life of parents who've kind of struggled to get their kids to college?
I saw a tweet earlier today about a kid, basketball player committing to Kansas State, I believe it was. Evidently, Kansas State has a ton of NIL money, pay-for-play money, and he was going to get $2 million, according to the tweet.
$2 million?
That's life-changing. $2 million. That was life. I mean, that's life-changing money.
Well, that's not only
life-changing money.
Yeah, I mean, you're changing the lives of your children and maybe even your grandchildren if you invest it properly. Heck, fire. So this might all just turn out to be great at the end of the day. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be great or if it's going to be like the housing market back in, 2008 when it just collapsed upon itself because they were handing out mortgages to people who couldn't afford it. Well, are we putting colleges in a position that eventually they can't afford to do this? What if the donors get tired of giving money to losing programs? You keep asking for money, but you're not winning championships. So is it going to – obviously, as we're seeing now, just making the postseason is not good enough. And if I'm going to give money, I got to have some hardware back in return is the way I think boosters are going to look at it across the board. And what happens if that booster money dries up down the road?
Our poll question this week was, Ray Tanner handing out pink slips left and right at USC, and what's the reason? What message does that send? I think you may have just hit on it, Phil. He's looking at the landscape economically of college athletics moving forward and realizes, hey, at South Carolina, we've got to win. We have got to win if we're going to contend. To contend, though, we've got to have the money in there. It's that chicken versus the egg. We've got to have the money to be able to go buy players and win championships so that our boosters will continue to give money so we can go buy players and win championships. So where does this start? Well, the only place I think he can affect change is in the coaching ranks and go get coaches who realize there's only one goal. And it was fairly clear to me listening yesterday, Paul Maneri knows exactly what his one goal is, and that's to get to Omaha.
No doubt about it.
Harsh as a reality that is. That's what he sounded like. And the kid's name is Coleman Hawkins. He's a 6'10" forward committing to Kansas State in what is believed to be the most lucrative college basketball pay-for-play deal at $2 million, negotiated from a collective by Nate Conley of Courts 14 and Aaron Turner of Versus Basketball.
Yeah. What's their cut? Do they get a cut? Are these people doing it out of the generosity, the goodness of their heart? Are they making a little something out of this? Or maybe they're just getting season tickets, free season tickets to Kansas State games. Is that enough? My
guess is, because this came from one of the senior lead NBA insiders for The Athletic, my guess is these guys who pay this kind of money and help negotiate these kind of deals are already working as pseudo agents.
Yeah.
So when Coleman Hawkins decides he wants to turn real pro, not just college pro, he'll stay with them.
All right, they're underway. Florida State, Tennessee. Florida State batting in the top of the first. Second game of the CWS today in Omaha. They've got a runner on first. Chris Stamos on the mound for Tennessee comes in 3-0 with an ERA of 4.02. And Florida State will be starting tonight against him, Jamie Arnold. And let's see if I can find any numbers on Jamie Arnold. 2.27 ERA, I know that. 2.77 ERA coming in. So they're underway in the opening inning of the second game of the day. First game of the day, it was North Carolina beating Virginia 3-2. Walk-off fashion for North Carolina. Fourth walk-off win of the postseason and the fifth in their last at-bat. So Tar Heels have been living life on the edge and getting away with it in the postseason. Final lines for the game, North Carolina 3 runs, 9 hits, did not commit an error, stranded 7. Virginia 2 runs on only 5 hits. They committed 1 error. DeCaro started for North Carolina, went 4 innings, 4 hits, allowed a run, struck out 6, and walked 4. Poston followed, inning and 2/3, a hit and a run, walked 1, struck out 1, and then their fine closer, Pence, or if he's not their closer, he's one of their star pitchers. He gets the win, 5-1, and what an outing! 3 1/3. He only threw 29 pitches in 3 1/3 innings. I mean, that's efficient.
It was a heck of a pitcher's duel. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten so accustomed to college baseball being a 9-8 type game, like the Clemson, Florida super regional games. That's what we've grown accustomed to. Of course, the park is bigger. The wind, as you heard Coach yesterday talking about how it's totally changed because of the way it's turned around. They were talking today that the wind was blowing in, so there was no way you were going to hit a home run. Yeah. And so the pitching was terrific. When you don't give up these balls that look like they came out of Little League parks. I mean, college pitchers, I think, are okay. They're not nearly as bad as their ERA may indicate.
Now, this guy's got a 1.92 ERA
there
now
you go.
After his outing today. Well, you talk about pitching on the other side for Virginia. Blanco went 6 2/3, 7 hits, couple of runs, struck out 4, walked 2, and then Hungate was the loser. He worked the last 2 innings. He falls to 7-2, couple of hits, 1 earned run there in the bottom of the 9th. Did not walk anybody, did not strike out anybody. So, yeah, it's an excellent pitching duel between these two teams, and North Carolina wins it. Hope to have Ray Tanner on with us next week for a conversation. I've invited him, and I think he's pretty much accepted. Just haven't nailed down the date. But, you've got all SEC, all ACC teams here in this College World Series, and they've earned their way there. But from a national perspective, and we'll see what the TV numbers look like here once it's all said and done. Your college baseball fan is going to watch no matter who's there. But I mean, you got no representation from the West Coast. You got no representation from the Upper Midwest. You got no representation from the Northeast. Even though they're in the SEC, Texas A&M is from the Southwest, so you got a little Southwest representation there. But then everything else is pretty much buried in the Southeast, right? So is that good that you don't have any draw from a team standpoint from all those areas? Or maybe those areas don't care about college baseball. Maybe it's all the Southeast,
Well, and I thought Mike Morgan brought up a really fascinating point when we asked him about this last night, Phil, when he said that the stark contrast is the absence of West Coast baseball.
Yeah.
What has happened to the Southern Californias, the Arizona States, all those teams who at one point in time were dominant college baseball programs. I mean, there may be no program in the country that has greater tradition than Southern California. And the problem is we haven't heard from them in 3 decades. I think it's been a long, long time, long drought for them. And, you wonder if them moving to the Big Ten, that's not going to help baseball out there, is it? I mean, how many kids are going to want to play in Los Angeles knowing that half of their games are going to be in the, upper Midwest and Northeast during baseball season? They're not going to want to go out there, I wouldn't think.
But here's the sad part.
That has probably hurt them.
Here's a really sad part about that league is that, the league was pretty much proclaimed dead a couple of years ago from a competition standpoint, but yet in their final year of existence, correct me if I'm wrong, did they have a very good football season with Washington making the national championship game? Oregon was strong. Oregon State was better. I'm trying to remember about Southern Cal, UCLA. Well, I think they were somewhat better. I think Southern Cal was somewhat better. And then the basketball season was exceptionally good in the old Pac-12, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, I don't recall what obviously their baseball teams didn't make it far enough to get to Omaha, but it's kind of a shame that the league dies at a time when they actually had a pretty good kind of bounce back athletic year. Not counting, of course, all the Olympic championships, Olympic sport championships, the volleyballs and the golf and the water polo and all that stuff, track and field, that they no doubt won. Okay, Florida State has a threat going. They got corners with 1 out against Tennessee trying to jump on top early. That's a great story, Florida State, because they were awful last year. They should give hope to everybody, shouldn't they? They were an awful team last year, and here they are in the College World Series.
And wearing all garnet tonight, which is, I'm not sure I've seen Florida State do that all that often. So maybe trying to change some ghosts of the past because you want to talk about tradition. Florida State's tradition at Omaha has been not to win. And so they want to change that. And how big a hero would Link Jarrett be if he's able to finally break through and win a CWS title for them?
A former Notre Dame coach winning a national championship somewhere else sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And we'll see if the other guy now at South Carolina can get it done for them. I feel confident that they're going to be good. I mean, it's about getting the players. And the fact that I think it looks like they're going to retain the key players who can come back from last year. They're going to retain those as it looks right now, Petrie and the like. So they're going to have a nice nucleus to build around, I would say going into next year. And then they've got a huge recruiting class coming in already, high school players, a big class of high school and junior college players. And of course they're supplementing that with players out of the portal, John. So this guy can coach baseball, and his assistant coaches, we all know, except for the young man coming from Virginia who's never coached on the field. This will be his first opportunity. But you know what Monty Lee can do. You know what Terry Rooney can do. So there's no question they've got a strong coaching staff, and we'll have a chance to be very good. All right, let's run to the break. When we come back, it'll be time to dive into the NASCAR world as they go racing in the cornfields of Iowa. We determined it's the Iowa what?
Iowa Corn 350, I think it is, and they're going to run actually 306 miles.
They're calling it the Iowa Corn 350?
I believe that's right. Let me look that back up. I think that's the case.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, we'll hit the break.
Iowa Corn 350.
Jeff will join us on the other side. Be right back.
Relax this summer with a promotional rate on select travel purchases with your Founders Federal Credit Union credit card. Now through August 31st, get 6.99% APR for 6 months on qualified purchases, airfare, hotels, restaurants, and cruise lines. Don't let interest rates slow you down this summer. Visit foundersfcu.com/travel to learn more. Not a Founders member yet? Founders has the financial tools you need and the personalized service you deserve. Stop by an office or visit foundersfcu.com to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. On March 1st, 2025, the promotional APR will revert to the effective APR as previously disclosed. Call 800-845-1644 for details about credit costs and terms. Membership qualification required.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducation.com/betteryou.
George Bryant here for Tsunami Bar Sports, and some say the fun is in the winning. I say the fun is in the training. And Tsunami Robbie, what do you say?
George, we all know you get more done when you're having fun. This technology is different, it's engaging, but it's also a lot of fun to use.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportstalkSC.com and get 5% off any Tsunami Bar order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today.
Love it when it's forward, love it when it's fast, love it when the leaders talk, the pack is moving past. Love it when they're making lots and lots of noise. Can't wait to hear these doubles say, boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. Let's go racing, boys. Love it when they're drafting, love it when they slide, love it when the back's straight, the throttle's open wide. Love it when they're making lots and lots of noise. Can't wait to hear these doubles say,
Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. Boys, let's hear it. Let's go racing, boys. Come on, Josh, bring it, man. Get deep with me here.
Boys.
Racing in the cornfields of Iowa. We've got a field of dreams out there. Now we got a track of dreams. Do they call it a track of dreams, Jeff Owens, in the fast lane out in Iowa? The track of dreams?
Well, like you said, it's about an hour and a half from the Field of Dreams, so I don't know why not.
Why can't we come up with a movie based on a racetrack in the cornfields of Iowa that has the same romanticism as Field of Dreams?
Yeah, there you go. Maybe we could bring, let's say, Lee Petty or David Pearson back and
I like it.
Have him race his son. Here's what you could do. You bring Earnhardt back, and he has a moment with Dale Jr., and he races Dale Jr.
That would be awesome.
There's a movie for you. That would be
awesome. All right, let's go back to last week real quick out in Sonoma. Your favorite kind of finish, a fuel finish or lack thereof. You had one of those last week. I know you live for a race that ends when another guy runs out of gas.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, man, that's awful. Yeah, it was okay. It's a compelling race. They did have a lot of cautions and a lot of wrecks and a little bit of action. But, on a road course like that, like we talked about last week, fuel strategy is part of it. At an oval track, it just sort of happens sometimes, when you don't have enough caution flags or something. But at a road course like that, it's part of the strategy. And we saw the guys play it out, and we saw some of them run out of gas. I felt terrible for Martin Truex. He was going to finish second. He was good all day, He runs out of gas, and he's sitting right there at the finish line and can't go anywhere. And I think he wound up like 34th. So terrible day for him. Good win for Kyle Larson. And, hopefully we don't have any more fuel mileage races for a while.
Now, sometimes better to be lucky than good. Even when you are good, it's also good to have some luck with you, and that's strictly a luck win, but they're not giving it back. What about the news today about Martin Truex Jr.? He will retire from full-time competition. I get confused by these drivers who retire from quote-unquote full-time competition, but then you see him at Daytona, you might see him at Talladega, you might see him at Charlotte, maybe at Darlington. I mean, retire. It would be like Aaron Judge announcing his retirement from full-time participation with the Yankees, yet, he'll play in the Red Sox series and he'll play in the postseason. I mean, are you retired or are you retired, huh?
Yeah. Some of these guys just can't stay out of a race car. That's it, and they'll come back and race here and there and do a one-off. And, Mark Martin several years ago retired, and a couple of years later he came back and won 5 races and almost won the championship. So, yeah, I mean, they in racing, we hear this often. It sounds like a cliche, but I think it's something that just sort of gets in your blood, and it's more than competition. It's that sensation of speed and that risk and that daring. And some of them just can't walk away from that. And even when they hang it up from full-time driving, they get that itch and want to jump back in the car. Jimmy Johnson has done it. He retired and now he's back running about half the schedule. And they just get that bug and they get that urge to get back out there and feel that speed. And we see it happen often. But, and Martin has flirted with this for about 3 or 4 years. He was supposed to retire 2 years ago. He was supposed to retire last year. And now he finally announces he's going to do it. So, good for him. He's had a good career, 34 wins. He won a championship. The interesting thing is, he won that championship in 2017 with a single car team, which was practically unheard of at the time. And then he moves over to Joe Gibbs Racing, which sort of, absorbed that team. And he's finished second in the points twice with Gibbs, never won another one, but he's had a really nice career. And he's one of the most well-respected drivers out there. So good for him. I'm glad he's reached that decision, and we'll kind of celebrate him for the rest of the year and let him retire, and then we'll probably see him at Daytona, like you said.
Yeah, easy Hall of Fame pick.
I think so. I think when you win, a championship and you win that many races, I think you go in. Hey, Carl Edwards just went in, and he didn't win a championship. He came up short and retired rather abruptly, and I believe Martin's got more wins than his. Martin came close at Daytona, but he lost the Daytona 500 one time by inches in one of those photo finishes. But, yeah, I think his credentials, based on what they've been doing, I think he's a surefire Hall of Famer.
All right, practice today in the Iowa cornfields. Noah Gragson, 132.9. Ty Gibbs, 136.5. Alex Bowman, 136.3. Justin Haley, 136.2. Got about a minute. What are the characteristics of this Iowa short track?
Yeah, it's a lot like Richmond, a whole lot like Richmond. Same distance, about a 3/4 of a mile. A little bit different shape, but relatively flat, that kind of track. The Xfinity Series raced there for several years. The last one, I think, was in 2019. But they've done a lot of work on that track, and they've got it ready for Cup racing. And most of the drivers, and I think a lot of fans, have been excited about this race. New venue, going to Iowa, good racetrack. We get another short track. I think it's going to be a fun weekend, and I think it could be a track that winds up being a staple on the Cup circuit.
Yep, going to a new place, new look, new smell. Should be interesting. Should be a lot of banging and grinding of the fenders and things like that. Typical short track. We'll see how it plays out. Jeff, thank you, my friend. A happy Father's Day weekend to you, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, you too, Phil. Y'all have a great one.
Thanks, you, Jeff. Sir. Jeff Owens, In the Fast Lane here on Sports Talk. BBB is coming up. We'll be right back.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 100 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We're not cooling down much today in our low 72. Tomorrow hot. A blend of sun and clouds. 95 is the high. A heat index over 100. There's also a 20% chance we get some afternoon rain. Father's Day on Sunday gives us 92 as a high. Wishing you a great weekend. Happy Father's Day, dads. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting. Speaker Mike Johnson says the House will move in court to enforce the subpoena against Attorney General Merrick Garland for access to President Biden's counsel audio interview. This came late Friday, hours after the Justice Department refused to prosecute Republicans' contempt of Congress charge against Garland. In a letter to Johnson, a Justice Department official cited the agency's long-standing position and uniform practice not to prosecute officials who don't comply with subpoenas because of a president's claim of executive privilege. The Supreme Court has struck down a Trump-era ban on bump stocks, a rapid-fire gun accessory that was used in the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. A Texas gun shop owns the ban, arguing the Justice Department wrongly classified bump stocks as illegal machine guns. This is SRN News.
I sure like to brag about good local businesses. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is a great local biz. Josh and his team stress customer service as their top priority. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning came out to my house. I had a toilet that wasn't working right, a garbage disposal that died. They came out right on time, told me everything they were going to do, and explained the price of each repair before even bringing in the tools. I knew exactly what I was getting and exactly what it would cost. Their prices are fair, their team is courteous, and plus, they did a great job fixing what needed fixing in my home. I am very careful about making any recommendations, and I'm thrilled and confident to suggest you call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning for any plumbing needs. If it's a repair or to replace something, if it's that tankless water heater that you've always wanted to give you that endless hot water and save you some money. They unclog drain and sewer lines and so much more. Online, you'll find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com or just give Josh and those great folks a phone call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222, and tell them you heard about them from here at The Point.
Hey y'all, this is Ted at Dick Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee-Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Breathe fresh life into your home with Lake Murray Soft Wash. Our team specializes in power washing, soft washing, and restoration. From roof cleaning to wood and concrete wash downs, we've got you covered. For top-notch, affordable services that you can trust, call now, 528-1996, or log on to LakeMurraySoftWash.com to make an appointment. We're not just professionals, we're your neighbors. Whether residential or commercial, Lake Murray Soft Wash sets the standard in cleaning. Embrace the sparkling difference today.
Some people would tell you the world's on fire right now. Well, this isn't a political message. It's a message in support of Ken and his team at Broker Solar in downtown Columbia. I love what they're doing. This is meant to remind you about something. You can't pick your power company. It's not like swapping cell phone companies every time they ask for another rate increase. You know what, though? You can take control of your power bill. You can either pay the man or be the man. You can own your own energy. You need to reach out to Broker Solar. In famously hot Columbia, when it's 100 degrees in the shade, you won't lose power when the grid can't handle the heat. You'll You'll have stored energy and a solar-powered battery. During peak hours, when the power company's cleaning up, you'll run off your solar panels and you'll get the last laugh. Hey, solar's not for everyone. It's a serious financial commitment with serious financial benefits. My suggestion is you reach out to Broker Solar and let them answer your questions. Online, it's brokersolar.com, or give Ken a call at 807-7417. That's 807-7417 for Broker Solar.
It's time for Birdies and Bogeys with George Bryan on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Straight down the middle, it went straight down the middle. Then it started just a wee bit.
That's when the cat alongside it.
That little white
That was his day. But it went straight down the middle. I tell you what, if you're not hitting it straight down the middle at Pinehurst, if you roll into that trash, you are in deep doo-doo. Deep doo-doo. The second round is practically over. I think most everybody is in. And Ludwig Oberg going to take the weekend lead at 5 under par after a 69 today. Bryson DeChambeau, here you go, 69. He's at 4 under. Thomas Dietrich is 67. He's at 4 under. Patrick Cantlay is 71. He's at 4 under. And here's Rory, 72. He's at 3 under. Let's welcome in GB3, George Bryan III. Joining us here once again, Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps, brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports in West Columbia. Welcome in, George. I know you've been working, you've been teaching, you've been educating the young golfers with brains full of mush. But at the same time, I know you've been watching some of the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. What do you think?
Absolutely mesmerizing. I love just turning it on. The one thing that is very difficult, and it's not seen. You cannot see the elevation. I wish the cameras weren't up so high, but I absolutely love it. And I don't know what other options they could go with, but yeah, that's this time of year. Got the U.S. Open already had. This is the third major, which is kind of weird too, a little bit.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan. I personally, as a fan, a golf fan, a sports fan, maybe it's because I got used to it. It's what I grew up with. I'm not a big fan of the PGA being so early and being the first. Is it the first or the second? It's the second major, right? Masters the first, second major. I mean, I grew up with the PGA being the last. What was they had a great slogan for it, right?
Glory's last shot.
Glory's last shot, and they killed that, George. Why'd they do that?
No, the NFL killed that.
Maybe they. There you go, Chris. Hey, that could have been it, but no, I think it stinks that the PGA jumped in with the way they did, and on the other hand, it gets the way I look at it gets me into my golf season a little quicker. With the British Open being the last one, it's still so we can't watch that much golf on TV. Just go out and play ourselves. That's what football season's for, the way I look at it. So. But
you love football season because it opens up those fairways for you.
Oh, at least right around here in the Carolinas, right here in the Midlands, especially. So, absolutely. But Pinehurst, if you haven't been there, you just can't get a feel for the elevation on the golf course. And then we're not talking about mountain golf. We're just talking about it's sandland. But the TV just doesn't do it justice. You can't get a feel for how good a lot of those shots are, but then how awful they turn out. They just keep rolling and rolling, and those slopes are real. And the way it's playing, I think, is absolutely beautiful. And I love the native area, or whatever they call not even in the rough. The desert look. I love that too. And, I listened to Oberg, and I'm sure I'm saying it incorrectly.
No, you're not.
Correct me though.
That is
All right,
correct.
so
It is Oberg. Uh-huh.
oh, his interview fresh, and I didn't realize this was his first U.S. Open. So it would not surprise me at all to see him win this championship. The kind of game he's got, he's fresh. He's definitely not scared of this situation. No question. He's out there having fun. And although it's a great leaderboard, I think it's gotten off to a wonderful start. Looking forward to the weekend.
All right, so let me ask you this. George Bryan, GB3, Birdies, Bogies, Biceps here in South Carolina. Tell us about, I've been to Pinehurst before. I've never played Pinehurst 2, but years ago, and they did this for several years, the ACC Football Media Day was held at Pinehurst, and we got to play one of the courses. But I've never played number 2. Explain to us the concept and the thought behind this Pinehurst Village sort of setup that they have there, why the courses are named after numbers and all of that. What do you know about the history of Pinehurst and why it is Pinehurst?
You know, that's a great question. I sat in several of the clubhouses, and oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on the one that's right there in the middle of the village. I think it's pretty easy if you just name it all Pinehurst and at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's pretty simple. And the architects, I think they, I don't have a great answer for all that, but what I do know is it's been there a long time, and the greatest architect of all time designed number 2. And he also is, forget the other ones, I think number 1 as well. Be cool. Some of the callers, they'll correct you. If not tonight, next week. They're not texting you as we speak with better answers than what I have. I sat on more than one occasion in one of the hotel restaurant bar, listened to Bob Drum tell stories. And it was amazing. Nobody could tell it quite like he could, and it went on wee hours in the morning. Pinecrest Inn, that's what I was thinking of. And
have you ever played number 2? Have you ever had the chance to play number 2?
Oh yeah, I played number 2 in a number of events, competitions, and it is kind of interesting because that would have been in the late 80s, early 90s, and there were some similarities to how it was conditioned then as to now. They went through the period where late 90s, I know when Payne Stewart won 99, yeah, I think that was 99. The conditioning, Paul Jett, who came along right here in the Midlands, went to Irmo, then went to Clemson. At the time, he was a superintendent there, and the golf course was beautifully manicured, but there was a different maintenance theme. And I remember a conversation as he was describing how everything would begin to change over the next few years, and his explanation. But anyway, back in the day, in the 80s and early 90s, it was similarly conditioned to how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's beautiful sandland pine trees, but the elevation. So we're not talking about a mountainous golf course, but there is significant elevation change. Beautiful rolling sandlands, and the greens, just nothing out there quite like it. And I do appreciate not seeing the big old thick meadows of rough all around the green, and the spotters looking for golf balls on every hole. I remember the one Koepka one, Aaron Hills. I'd never seen anything like that. We're talking about 30, 40 spotters on some of the holes just to try to find rough, just finding balls in the rough. I'm glad that we don't have that to look at this year. And I love the bowled off. It's nice. The fringe around the edge of the green rolls just about as fast as your average club green, probably rolling at 8, 9, 10 at least, and it's smooth. So you can see a lot of the players there, all kind of shots. None of them seem to be mastering it, at least what I've seen on TV.
The thing about there, though, and their greens, of course, you don't call them. It's not a false front. What's the proper term for describing the front part of almost all their greens, because they're so elevated, and if you don't hit your ball, past that like ridge area, it's going to roll back off the green. Isn't that pretty much the case with all their greens?
Almost every one. They're bowled off, and you will hit it on the right level, or you will get to chip it again and again and again and again. And that's
saw that today several times.
Yeah, and that's what you can't see is if you miss it in the wrong places, and these are the best skill players in the world. You just don't miss it in those places, and it will undress you. It makes you look like you have no skill, and it looks fairly straightforward and fairly easy. Even when you're out there over the top of your golf ball, it still doesn't look that hard, but it is sensitive, very sensitive. And even when you do hit your quality shots, if you're at the mercy of the slope and how the bounce, how that golf ball doesn't always bounce fair in the way it looks like it should. And one of the things about Pinehurst is you don't see a lot of forced carries, things that so average golfers can go out there and thoroughly enjoy their time. Now, they're going to hit their ball a lot. There's no question. But you don't have to worry about carrying it over water, or there's some fairly deep bunkers, but they're not unplayable. You can get them out. And, yeah, there's no other course that I'm familiar with quite like number 2. I guess they're out there, but I haven't seen them. Very unique, very unique. And, again, it looks like it's very playable. That's the thing that grabs everybody. It's a very uncommon, docile look. Like it's fun. You think you can easily, well, I should be able to tame this hole. And it looks, some of them look very, very wide, and you have very narrow fairways or a target area to hit to. So some of the greens are huge, and it looks like you ought to be able to hit them pretty easy, but nearly impossible. It's unique.
Yeah.
Birdies, bogeys, and biceps here on Sports Talk with GB3. And George, I hate to hear golfers complain about a golf course, weather conditions, playing conditions, whatever, because all of them are playing on the same course. But that being said, Mark Calcavecchia yesterday basically tore Pinehurst number 2 down to shreds, saying it's the most overrated golf course in the world. And he went on to talk about the greens themselves with the turtlebacks, as you've talked about, no out of bounds, no water, almost impossible to hit a tree, which I would think would be a good thing. But were some of his criticisms of the golf course, though, albeit I think it's silly for any golfer to complain, but is any of that criticism warranted at Pinehurst?
I'm glad to see Calc's got enough energy to express himself. And by the way, he's never been without an opinion. And he is one of the charismatic players, one of the most entertaining of all time. And he's actually a pretty funny guy. I don't know him very well, just know of him. And, that's one cool thing. Everybody's got their ideas on what they like or dislike. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here from a place saying that I think Pinehurst is easy, nor is it my very favorite course of all time. I will tell you that it is the most unique major championship golf course out there. And folks like Calcavecchia, who hit their ball so good and a lot of ball control, they kind of like the fact that, you got a lot of intimidating forced carries, puts a lot of emphasis on pure brute strength. And whereas, I love it when you will likely not lose a golf ball there at Pinehurst, I mean, even your 20 handicaps will go out and play with the same golf ball on a major championship golf course. And it's one of the, again, it makes you think that you can, it looks easy. It might even lull you to sleep. And I definitely understand him saying it's overrated. My guess is he hadn't played there a whole lot and didn't learn how to play it very well when he did. Hey, that's how most of us are. If we don't play that course good, well, we don't like it, and we'll come up with a bunch of reasons why.
Well, that would limit the courses that I could step foot on, to be honest with you, if that's the measuring stick. George Bryan III, birdies, bogeys, and biceps. We had some news in the state, a couple different things to talk about from a golf standpoint. We had the 66 South Carolina Golf Association Junior Championship. That was completed yesterday, and your winner turned out to be Chase Klein with rounds of 73, 69, and 71, 3 under par. Coleman Ferguson and Bennett Scaletta a shot back. So that's the top of the leaderboard there. Those are the only ones under par. And then Sage Bradshaw, +2 for him, Dylan Park, and Jack Crusor at +3, and also Teddy Dunn finishing at +3. So Chase Klein is your champion. You know him?
Absolutely. I watched him grow up right here in Chapin. And he, I think we've spoken about him, he signed and playing at Western Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Right behind, JT Poston, great player now on the tour. In fact, JT's playing pretty good at Pinehurst. And not a surprise at all that Chase Klein wins that event.
Hey, George.
Talented.
George,
Yes,
hang
sir.
on a second. I got to break in with some football recruiting news. You know how that goes. We've been waiting the announcement of Shed Surratt, offensive tackle from Gaffney. Just moments ago, he took off his jacket and revealed that he is going to go to South Carolina. So South Carolina gets the commitment. 6'5", 290, Shed Surratt, one of the top players in the state. George, at 6'5", 290, I think you put a driver in his hand and pointing him in the right direction, I think you probably hit it a ton.
My guess is you're absolutely right. My hope is he does. And usually it's about college that most of these athletes in other sports, they begin to think about golf and maybe play. I would love to see that big guy take a rip at it. In fact, I was just on the phone early this morning with a 6'5" baseball player, Kevin Steelman, and he's getting into golf. And you mentioned 6'5", and I'm pretty sure he's only about 220. He's definitely not 290, but he's a pitcher. I think he was a pitcher. I'm going to get this wrong. Maybe Newberry. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, you might be right.
Know he's playing for the Hootie team this summer.
The Blowfish.
And the Blowfish, yeah. And so he's getting into golf. You mentioned 6'5". There's a 6'5" athlete, and I can tell you he comes from the Mark Steelman, Hall of Fame, College of Charleston player and coach. Watched him grow up, but yeah, I watched Chase Klein grow up. Congratulations! I'm glad to see he wins the event. Lexington. I'm guessing that's the club that hosted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Club of Lexington. Oh my goodness, we're talking about Hall of Fame from Norman Flynn, Charlie Roundtree. That club's got some tradition, and I'm glad that you mentioned some other young, an AC Flora player who finished second, third. If you have those results,
that would be Coleman Ferguson and Bennett Scaletta finished tied for second, and then Sage Bradshaw is that one of the Bradshaws from Spartanburg? Well, it used to be Spartanburg, I guess. Now Columbia.
I can't answer that question. I can't imagine it not being. Now, He's not one of the Bradshaws I'm familiar with. But my guess is if he can play, he's got to be related.
Probably so. Now, before we lose you here, we got about 4 minutes. A couple of coaching comments. South Carolina hired their new coach coming from Purdue, and then this happened a couple of weeks ago. We should have mentioned it, but we never got around to it. But your good friend over at AC Flora has hung it up as far as coaching is concerned.
Coach Dargan, he's been on the show. You're kidding me.
You didn't know this?
Now, I have to admit, I watched a bit of a text thread that he and some former Gamecocks were tangled up with over the coaching idea, what all that tangle, and I did not know he had retired. I got to tell you, that's not good. I'm sorry. I'm very sad to hear that. We got to get him back on the show, and I look forward to that. I'm sure he's got a growing family, and I'm golf in the spring, man. It really loads up that clock. So his girls are probably kind of happy about him retiring. Although I think one of his girls played on his golf team. That will be his girls' golf team. That's a fall sport. So sad to hear about that.
He did tell the administration. I'm reading the story here from the state newspaper by Bob Spear. He told the administration that he would assist on a part-time basis if they want him.
Oh, they will want him. He's spectacular. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not listening now. We will invite, and he's Hall of Fame coach. He's a Hall of Fame guy, and it'll be fun having him on to listen to what his next step may be. And I did have the chance to speak live and in person with our new University of South Carolina Gamecock coach, Coach Bradley, Rob Bradley. And although I don't know him, he currently, and the reason he can't be on the show this week, and I think he will be next week, he is in Vancouver with his son. His son is trying his hand at professional golf, and the Canadian tour, and I forget the name of this tour. He's out at that qualifier, and Coach Bradley is actually caddying for him. Sounds like he's got the right kind of passion and fire for the game. And I'll tell you what, collectively around the state, all the colleges, not just the D1 schools, but we talk about it throughout the course of the year. We got some great college coaches in our Palmetto State, and I'm glad he's going to be joining us. He sounds definitely a family-oriented man, spends a lot of time with them, and he's got a daughter that I think sounds to me like he might be empty nester, and it'll be wonderful to have him right here in Columbia.
Well, you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to get him out to the scramble and, put him up against the record holder, me, and see if he can, carry my water, see what he can do around a tough little course.
I'm guessing he'll be able to hold his own. That's just a guess, though, Phil. Just a guess. And you're a category course record holder, and it will be fun. I was out this week, and what's so cool about the scramble at Tsunami Bar Sports is you can play. I played 6 holes in 8 minutes, and I played 3 balls. I played a little worse than 2. I was actually out twice this week.
Yeah.
And played one single round at 6 minutes. And then we will have shortly the Williams Strength Garage Sports Gym, Williams Strength Total Strength and Speed. And then the Tsunami Bar technology is magical. In fact, we'll have more to talk about in the weeks to come, in the summer to come. It's fun, it's friendly, and there's nothing like it to help all athletes in all fields find their special magic. So, hey, I know we're pushing our time schedule and got a little daylight left. This is the time of year we can still slip out and play a hole or two. In fact, I think that's what I'll do. And with that, and I'm not exaggerating, I got 1 or 2 sitting right in front of me, and I'm going out there. And until next time, next week, You all tee 'em high. Enjoy that U.S. Open. Happy Father's Day to all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, George. Did he say?
See you, George.
He said tee him high. Did he say hit him low? I think
Shoot
he did.
'em low.
Shoot him
Shoot 'em
low.
low.
Thank you. Shed Surratt commits to the Gamecocks, and Tennessee leads Florida State 4-1. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Josh. Happy Father's Day, everybody. See you Monday.